Hey, what's up guys? Houston here. Look, if you're trying to get a massive credit limit increase, okay, in your credit cards, I'm going to share with you some of the data points you really need to know, because a lot of people are just telling you the shortcuts. And what I mean by shortcuts, you may have seen this. Somebody will tell you, okay, say that you got approved for a $300 credit card, all right? So you get approved for a $300 credit card, then they'll tell you to spend $290, which is 90% of the credit card, right? So then you have like a $10 balance. So then the next week, you're going to pay this here $290. You're going to pay this $290, pay it in full next week, all right? Then you're going to go back and you're going to use that $290 again, and you're going to pay it again the following week, right? So this is to help you increase your credit limit. It's supposed to help you get a massive increase in your credit limit. Now, that's one way. The second way, they would tell you, if you have, say that you have 10 G's, 10,000 or up loan, they'll tell you take that 10,000 and put it on a secured credit card or a secured loan, right? And then utilizing this here, maxing this here out, then this will give you a high limit credit increase. Who has $10,000? It can be very challenging, especially for people that are on fixed income. All right, I can understand this method, and definitely I would encourage you to think about this method, because this method may work for you better. The reason is, I would tell you, instead of paying this off every week, you actually should be making daily payments. So you should be making daily payments. So if you use $290, then if you have the means, paying this here on a daily is much better, okay? Because it helps increase your credit score as well. Not only influences the bank to show that you're able to make your regular payments and stuff, but at the same time, it actually helps you increase your credit score. So that I agree with, okay? This here, again, if you have the money, then this can help. Now, that being said, some of the things that I wanted to address is what they're not saying in terms of when you're trying to get higher limit increases on the credit file is the age. That's what A means, age, right? If you're between 2 years to 5 years, okay? This is where they would consider doing anywhere from 5 up to just at 15, all right? Now, also, it depends on the relationship. How long have you been with this institution? That's another thing that they're not factoring in that you guys should know. So if you're just coming, all right, and you just applied for a credit card, the reason they probably gave you the credit card because you don't have a relationship with them. So that's the reason you probably ended up with a low limit in the first place, right? Because you don't have a relationship with them. So how do you build that relationship with them? The way you would build that relationship with them, you would open up a personal checking and maybe a business checking. The reason I say do both is because with the business checking, you can actually get higher limits, okay? So that's way, say that you're with a Chase Bank, okay? So with Chase Bank, if you're a newcomer and stuff, and you have a low credit score, say you're lower than a 660 credit score, then opening up the personal checking and the business checking, and I would say they want you to garner in that relationship for about 6 months, all right? 6 to 9 months if you're lower than a 660. In order for them to give you, they probably start you out with this, with 2,000. Again, if you have bad credit and your file doesn't have this matching age in at least 2 years, and you're just joining them, then this is what, it'll be about 6 to 9 months. Usually about 6 months is what they're looking at, okay? Now, another thing, and so what that means is that within that 6 to 9 months, you should be making increments of small deposits into the account, okay? Then, if they give you a debit card, use that debit card. continue using that debit card. All right, making those deposits and stuff. Trust me, this helps. If you have any bills and stuff, then setting up your deposits and stuff with Chase Bank, and then paying your bills through that account. Because again, you're building that relationship. All right. That's one of the bigger factors in terms of when you're trying to get higher limits on your credit cards and stuff. It's all about the relationship. Another thing is the income. That's what this is for, income. Now, in reference to the income, here's the thing about it. Most people, if they have a spouse or something, they don't include the whole household income. If you have somebody else that's contributing to your income in the household, whether you're on disability and you're renting a room, whether you're married and you have a spouse, whether you're a single mother and you're receiving child support, then you should be including that. Okay, on that application, that's income. All right, and then say that you get a side gig. Then you also need to go back and update. So what you would do when you first fill out the application, say you've been with them for about 6 months. So the first time you started out with them, you didn't have that side gig. You didn't include that extra income. But after 6 months, what you want to do, you want to go back and update. You want to update your income as well as your rent payments. Now, I always tell people when it comes to rent, usually the norm is you want to be between 15 up to 25%. Now, I know in today's rental market, your rents may be much higher. And that's another thing in terms of, we're going to talk about this TL in a minute, but in terms of the market, we know that most people are spending maybe over 50% of their income on rent alone. So they understand it, but at the same time, by you not including that other income, then it counts against you. In reference to this TL, okay, so with these trade lines, all right, what type of trade lines do you already have existing on the credit file? Do you have secured or unsecured trade lines on the credit file? Okay. This is very important, all right? So do you have rental payments? If you don't have rental payments, then you should, because you're missing out on an opportunity. Say that you're renting an apartment, you want to get a house. So if you have rental payments, they include that. Now, with Chase being a FICO 8 institution, something like that, well, they don't count authorized users. They don't count rental payments. They don't count utility bills. They don't count subscriptions. So then it goes to this. This here is the type of bank or banking institution, okay? So then you want to go for like a credit union or a bank that uses FICO 9, okay? FICO 9 or Vantage. Those are the type of, those are the type of institutions you actually want to go for. All right, because these will give you higher limits much faster than a FICO 8 institution. All right, this is what they're not explaining to you. Now, in terms of your FICO 9s, like you have Navy Federal, right? You have PenFed, okay? Your Vantage, you have BCU, Baxter Credit Union, all right? Then you have Viridian Credit Union. All right, then you have Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union. Those are your Vantage. All right. Now, if you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.